Live at Sports Radio, it's 93.1 The Fan. Garrett, Searight here in the Basement Doctor Studios. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Joining us now on the AmeriFirst Home Mortgage Hotline, he is the new head basketball coach, boys basketball coach of the Ada Bulldogs. It's longtime Lima Senior head coach Vince Halliday joining us. Vince, 14 years coach of the Lima Senior girls. You're going to switch over to boys. I don't know what the differences are. Do you know what the differences are, what the changes in the game would be, or how you need to maybe change your style or anything like that, or is that just something you've got to feel out at some point?
Well, I mean, I before I got into coaching girls 16 years ago, I did coach boys before that. Obviously, not at the high school level or the middle school level, but as far as me and my approach, to be honest, I think I'm probably better suited to coach boys. I think the transition to coaching girls was difficult, and obviously I did it for a long time. But there's things that, when you're coaching girls, you just have to be more cognizant of and more aware of. And I think now with coaching guys, that maybe I can be even truer to who I am naturally, and hopefully, it'll be a smooth transition. As far as me and as far as the game of basketball, obviously, boys basketball is going to be a little bit more athletic. And, maybe you would have some guys who can play above the rim a little bit. I'm not sure if that's the state of the case here personally in Ada. I haven't met these guys, haven't watched them play 1 second of basketball yet. But we're gonna get in the gym and put in the work and see what we can't do to help turn this thing around.
Yeah, what was it about the Ada job that made you think, I'm going to apply for that and go from there?
Well, obviously, when I resigned, I knew I wanted to continue to coach, but I didn't necessarily know what opportunities would be available, and whether I'd be an assistant coach or whether I'd be a head coach again. Those things I didn't know. Obviously, with Toby Smith coming over here to Ada to coach the football team, Toby and I teach together at Lima Senior. There's a connection there. Obviously, I have a connection to Ada, dating back to when Mike Fell came over from Ada to come to senior high to coach football, and him and I became really good friends, and had some other people from Ada that were on my staff. Mason Atchison served on my staff for a year, coached JV basketball for me. Morgan Dumball, who's now the head coach here at Ada, she coached for me and taught in the city schools for a few years as well. So you have some connections to Ada. So that kind of made a little bit of sense. And, I was aware of the situations that happened in the fall with the football program and with Dre White stepping down, right before the season. Kind of, had an inkling that maybe, John Cook would only be here for a year. And when he did step down, then I was, kind of eager to see if I could. I was definitely interested myself, and it was just needed to convince a couple people here that I was the right guy for the job.
Yeah. So how did you go about doing that? What went through the interview process? What were some of the things you laid out to, hey, here's why I'm the guy to lead Ada going forward?
Well, I think it's just, that continuity with the football coach, both of us kind of having a very similar background growing up, a very similar philosophy when it comes to coaching. Ada, I think, is looking for people who want to stick around for a while, and Toby and I are both in the same mindset that this is going to be our last jobs, at least before we both retire. We're both in this 12 to 14 year. I'm in a 12 to 14 year window. He's more of a 10 to 12 year window. So I think, offering that stability is something that Ada was looking for. And, and it worked out for both of us that we were able to continue our careers here in Ada.
New Ada boys basketball coach Vince Halliday joins us on the AmeriFirst Home Mortgage Hotline. Vince coached the Lima Senior girls for a long time before stepping down back in March, and is now going to lead the Ada Bulldogs boys basketball program. Vince, at Lima Senior with the girls, you did a little bit of everything depending on your personnel. You ran up and down the floor at times. You slowed it down at times. What can we expect? What's the ideal situation, both offensively and defensively, for you as you step into Ada?
Well, in the dream scenarios, you have a dynamic point guard who can get to the rim at will, and you have, 3 to 4 knockdown shooters, and you press for 32 minutes and make it a run and gun game. Now, obviously, that's the ideal world, but you have to adjust to your talent and adjust to the kids that you have. And, again, I don't necessarily know what we have in that. I know we have one starter back from last year's team. They have the sixth man, the seventh man back, and we have a JV kid who averaged 16, 17 points a game last year. So those, we're going to see what those guys can do and try to build around them. That's just what the holdovers from the staff have told me. I would prefer to play man-to-man defense, but I'm certainly not going to do something that isn't going to give us an opportunity to compete night in and night out. And whatever that is, whatever style that we have to adjust to, we'll get there and we'll work on it. But step one is coming back out here on Wednesday and meeting the kids, introducing myself and starting that process of getting the gym open and watching what these guys can do.
Vince, what are the biggest opportunities and what are the biggest challenges that you'll face as the new head coach there at Ada?
Opportunities is just I've gotten the opportunity. I've just been named the head coach. So that part I'm excited about. And just from what I gather, these are really good young men. They want to be successful. Everyone's getting a clean slate with me, and they need to prove to me that they deserve to be on the court. And I'll give all of them the fair shake. And the guys who come in the gym and bust their butt and put in the work in the weight room and put in the work on the basketball court are going to play. And those kids who don't want to put the work in the weight room and don't want to put the work in on the court, they're gonna sit and watch, whether it be in the bench or whether it be in the stands. That'll be their decision. But we'll have a couple rules. We'll enforce the rules. We'll hold these guys accountable, and see what happens.
You mentioned it's a clean slate for the guys. Is it also a clean slate for you that you spent 14 years there leading the Lima Senior girls program, and you kind of get into your set idea of ways and things like that. Is it an opportunity for you to step back and maybe reevaluate yourself and see things from a different perspective and things like that as you transition?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, when you're at one place for 14 years as a head coach and the girls and you develop your program, you make adjustments along the way. But I also think that you kind of, like you say, you kind of get stuck in some things that, that you do. And now it's kind of a fresh start, and it's exciting to, hop in with boys and, deal with that athleticism and work that way. And it's going to be, a whole new beginning for everybody as far as that. And again, that's very exciting to me to kind of start over with a clean slate and, brand new foundation that's built up from there.
Vince, it certainly feels like, at least from my perspective, that there's very much a fraternity of boys basketball coaches, and I'm asking because I honestly don't know. Does that intertwine with girls basketball? Do you have to make new relationships with some of the coaches you'll be competing against, or seeing in scrimmages, things like that, or do you have relationships with some of those guys that hey, you can reach out to and talk hoops with depending on who you're speaking of, boys coaches in the area?
Yeah, sure. And I'll be honest, last week I sent out an email to a half a dozen guys, boys coaches that I know that I have relationships with just because, they've been long time at their schools and we play their girls programs every year. So they see me in the gym and, I've been the voice of the Spartans for years. So you talk to those coaches that way. So I sent out, because I have no contacts as far as colleges and summer camps and shootouts and things like that. Every email that I get is for girls basketball. So, and I've been in those people that I emailed, they've all gotten back to me. They all responded. I've had nice 10, 15-minute conversations with a couple different guys. And I think that more people are going to be willing to help than not help. I'm sure there's some people that, aren't going to help me, and that's fine. But, I basically try to reach out to coaches that I know that aren't on the ADA schedule to see what we can, see what we can get going as far as, meeting up in the summer and things along that nature. And I'm certainly not a guy that's not afraid to ask for help. I will ask for help and try to get those resources and try to build up those connections as far as the boys side goes.
Well, Vince, congratulations on the new job. I'm sure it's an exciting time for you. We appreciate you hopping on here. I'm sure we'll be chatting with you about Ada boys basketball down the line. And thanks for giving us some of your time here just moments after you were officially hired.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Garrett, and I hope to talk to you more about the Bulldogs because I'm proud to be one.
Well, Vince, have you scoped out how you look in purple and gold just yet, or is that you got to wait? Or
besides this purple tie that I have, I've got nothing else in purple. I'm going to embrace it. I'm just maybe not quite embraced it yet, but I will in due time.
We'll see if it's your color or not. We'll let you know.
I have no doubt that I'm going to look good in purple when I do wear it.
You and me both. You and me both. Vince, thank you for hopping on. We appreciate it.
All right, Garrett. Take care. Appreciate it.